Hi, I'm Daisy,
Hi, I'm David.
and we're the MSA Crusaders.
Welcome to another episode of the MSA Crusaders. Today we want to welcome back Kerry Walsh. She's going to catch us up on stem cells.
Yay! Welcome back, Kerry.
Hi, thank you.
My savior. I don't know what to say here. My queen and king or something, and
Can I be shining? Can I be in shining?
in shining armor and a bow and arrow, and the one who sent me to Mexico myself. I'm absolutely uh, livid to have you back again.
Yay! I'm so happy about that, and I loved listening to your podcast. And oh my gosh, and it's like
Thank you so much.
it's happening. It's a,
Kerry is
Right?
going to catch us up. Catch us
We
up, Kerry.
we
Let us know the goods.
we talk about Carrie so much, we might have to start getting her like a royalty of like 20% for every episode or something, you know.
I
So
blabbermouth, so like just give me an opportunity to talk, whatever that is,
yeah,
platform, you know.
well, let's start from the beginning. Let's talk about before
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 symptoms.
before any treatment, what was going on in a nutshell.
So right, I'll give the really short version because I can't assume that anybody listening there are people who may be listening to this for the first time who haven't heard my
Right.
first and second. So I'm going to just give a real short little explanation. Many years ago, I suffered from very severe autoimmune disease, and a lot of that included scleroderma and related diseases, and another disease called neurobachet's, which affects the brain and affected my neurological functions a great deal. And I also had a lot of really serious pulmonary complications like pulmonary fibrosis and things like that, and all kinds of other things. So I was very sick, and there was a good chance I wasn't really going to make it, and I kept having strokes. I had 2 heart attacks. I was bedridden for a lot of the time, and I had stem cells back then. And this was 8 years ago, and I had 3 rounds of stem cells, and I was completely put in remission, pretty much. And I was good, and I went back to living life and doing some things again that I loved. And then I would say now it's going on about 4 years ago. I started to notice some neurological signs again, and some sort of funny mind tricks, and some GI problems, some different kinds of neurological problems just across the board. One of which is this thing called REM behavioral disorder, which we'll get to later. And that, as you know, is funny in a way, but it's really can be funny, and
It's not funny for the spouses and people that sleep
right.
beside us.
It's comic tragic. It's like the two masks in the theater. It's the
Yes.
happy face and the sad face. It's awful, and it's also funny. So I was screaming and yelling and thrashing around and swatting bugs and screaming at imaginary villains and things, and get away, you scoundrel, and whatever, in my sleep. And I know this because I would have people stay over and tell me that I was doing things like that, including singing opera in my sleep.
Did you
Ooh.
get this on camera?
Like I thought I could scare the bad people away by singing opera.
Did you,
Well,
did you catch it on camera by chance?
Huh?
Did you happen to catch it on camera by chance?
Oh my gosh. I,
can you imagine Carrie singing the Phantom of the Opera in her sleep with
I
REM behavior
wish.
disorder?
Actually, I do have a story. I did scare a mugger away in Brussels by singing some very high notes, though. This is a true
Yeah.
story. Someone tried to mug me at a train station in Brussels, and I sang like
Oh,
my highest note, and he freaked out and ran away.
good,
Just
good,
Good for
good.
you.
so
Only in Brussels.
in Brussels. So back to so I started feeling like things were wrong, and of course, like many of us do, I went to various specialists who gave me pills and said, "We don't know what's going on." And
Yeah.
then it wasn't until about a year and a half ago that all of the puzzle pieces starting to fit together. Oops. There goes my voice, but that hardly ever happens anymore. Where I was starting to lose my voice and get vocal tremor and have a lot of that REM disorder, a lot of severe neurological, GI, trouble walking, balance issues, falling. The list goes on and on and on, and I won't get to it. But basically, most things that other people experience, and that would include probably most of our listeners, chances are I've experienced it. So it was about a year and a half ago that sort of the light bulbs started to go on. And then I just decided I wasn't going to wait because things started going downhill really quickly. So that was in June and of 2023. By December, I was already going way downhill. I had my first podcast with you all in late November of 23, and I was in really bad shape. And at that time, my voice kept going out a lot. A lot of times it was just like a whisper or a wobble. And this is diagnosed by stroboscope by a vocal specialist. So this is something I would notice and, have some kind of psychosomatic. This is a real medical problem called vocal tremor that is related to other kinds of tremor.
And you're speaking a lot about your voice because before you used to do what for a living?
Right, opera and acting.
Opera, acting, yeah. Yeah, I'm the same way. Like I noticed I have a very similar. My left vocal cord got paralyzed, and my voice would go out just by speaking to people or hopping in a car or stress or exercise. So I can completely understand about the voice part.
Right. Yeah, so normal people notice it, but we notice it maybe a little more because, or it's and it is also very, very upsetting when you really then start to not be able to do the things you love because you're losing your voice. And your voice is such an integral part of who you are, really, really who you are just in your soul.
Well, I'm not sure we would want Daisy to be singing live on the podcast. I'm not, I don't know if we can sell that,
You get tired of hearing, what'd you say? What'd you say? What'd you say?
It's not everybody's cup of tea. But there are enough of us who do it, and there are still people out there who don't have any issues, and they have healthy bodies and healthy voices. And
well, yeah, there's even individuals with MSA who their voice has not been affected yet at all.
That's true too. Yeah. But yours and mine and Daisy's in different ways. We have different kinds of vocal problems, but we all have had some kind of vocal problems. But as you can see now, my voice is 1,000 times stronger. And it was
very strong.
Weak then. And if anybody would go back to listen to the podcast from a year ago, they'd say, that's not the same person.
Yeah.
Do you have some feed from a year ago?
Do I have what from a year ago?
Some feed from a year ago to play.
We can find something to play. I remember there were a few little clips when my voice completely petered out, and
I'll look. But I believe at that time we were still on either Google or Zoom, so I'll have to find out those recordings.
It was Google Meet.
It's still on Spotify. We can find it out.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I just played it for somebody the other day. So I got with a friend who I have to thank, and her name is Victoria Slavey, and she's my knightess in shining armor. So we owe our thanks to her, actually, and the doctors she worked with who helped lead me to Dr. Christian Miramontes in Mexico. So this was a team effort. And I researched for months to find the best option, the safest option, the most affordable option. This didn't happen overnight. It really took months. So this wasn't just, just do a simple Google search and then find somebody on. No. He was recommended by other doctors.
Yeah, I was going to say, because when you actually go to Google, the doctor that we went to, both you and I, like other countries, not like the USA, not like developed countries, you don't get very much except for a bad picture of the facility, right. and no publications on the website. No. So yeah, you have to definitely go out and do your own research outside of Google.
They're not up to speed somehow with all that stuff, except ones that are run by Americans, like those big fancy shiny clinics in Tijuana, who are fleecing people and
cosmetic and stuff.
Well, no, they're doing also like autoimmune treatments and MS treatments and things like that too, but they're just charging so much for a big shiny facility with a guy who's like a stand-up comedian slash doctor with really nice teeth. I've seen some of these people on YouTube. You can find
Sure.
it. And is that who I want doing my treatment? I want to know. I want somebody who's been recommended by other doctors who I can speak to, who will answer my questions anytime when I'm feeling insecure, when I have another annoying question or whatever, which, as you know, he does.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was one of the big. There were many selling points for me, but so I went and got the treatment, and immediately I felt much better. And I was so glad, because the day before I went down, I was curled up in a ball, crying. I left the apartment at 3 a.m. I hadn't slept at all. I was in agonizing pain. I could barely talk or walk, or get somebody to push me in a wheelchair. I just thought, what would happen? What would have happened if I had waited? And then everything changed, and I went back to trying to get back in shape in every way, trying to get my voice back in shape, trying to get my body back in shape. I started acting again, not full force. I'm not out there doing all kinds of TV and movies and things. I'm humbly doing.
And didn't your mother do some therapy too?
I took my mother there this summer. That's right. She has psoriatic arthritis and cirrhosis, and really changed her outlook too. She got also a lot better, and since she has a lot of walking problems, and she was able to get out of her wheelchair too.
Yeah, that's what impressed me. Like, after you said your mother got out the wheelchair, I was like, well, it's either God or Stem cells.
Yeah, you guys are sort of the line. You're going to be that domino effect with the recommendations that you're speaking of, Terry. You're going to have you and David just tell people about it. They were going to try it and just keep going.
Yeah, I had a this is all, I give all credit to Kerry, all credit.
Yeah.
I mean, just 2 days ago, Tuesday or something, I had a couple whose the husband had MSA, had about the same time as me, but his symptoms were just not getting worse, and her daughter was we did a FaceTime, and they had questions to ask about going to Mexico, money, travel, the procedures, the doctors. They speak English and Spanish, and I'm sitting here like thanking Kerry for the opportunity to share my treatment that I had down there with other people from my Reddit, my YouTube, from podcasts and stuff. It's so wonderful.
Look up to you guys for that.
Yeah,
definitely they're gonna follow.
I'm telling you, the first thing they said was, when we saw your original videos for me and saw my videos now, like before and after, it's clear. I said, that's the same that I saw as Kerry was before and after, and that's why I went down.
And I think it makes a difference also, like with that one person that we know mutually, that somebody can talk to both of us and listen to both our podcasts and say, okay, yes, well, one of them could be faking it or having a placebo effect, but not both.
Yeah.
And not having the same.
Can I ask you something, Kerry? I studied this too. Is this treatment for me?
Is this treatment for you?
Or am I too far?
I've been begging you to go for forever. Please go. Yeah. So Daisy asked me a question before, and my answer was more: if you have limited resources, like a lot of us do, where do we want to expend our money? And for me, I still am very active and very physical, and get out and go and do stuff. And so, I really, most clinical trials won't take me because I'm still too good. I'm still kind of like too youngish to get into many of them. But clinical
trials.
Well, no, but clinical trials can, even if they don't like help you per se with MSA, they're going to help save like what's left of you, like your organs and your breathing, your lungs, your brain, cognitive decline. It's only going to help. It's definitely not going to hurt. But clinical trials can hurt you. It just depends.
Well, you don't even know if you're getting the actual medicine, and you don't know if you're getting the medicine, and you don't know whether or not it's going to harm you because
we know someone that had the same clinical trial I was trying to get into, and it is night and day the decline after taking that major surgery. My local MDS last week, I saw her. She says it's not that you go under anesthesia; it's how long you're under anesthesia that hurts the person with MSA.
Oh man, I
So
felt that for our friend that we know.
and that's why he or she looks like they progressed very much in just a few months. It's because that surgery was what, eight hours plus anesthesia.
He reached out to me yesterday. He's going to get in a power chair.
Yeah, and that's the price we pay if we decide to go with clinical trials versus stem cells. That's the price you might pay.
He felt like he got staples in his head.
Yeah.
Daisy, I want to just say another thing for you is that, knowing that you're further progressed than me and David are, if you nobody's saying anything about cures. I'm not saying anything about anything curing anything. David and I are both speaking from our personal experience. I just believe that there's a few things to consider. Is that one thing is that it might put you in a holding pattern and improve you long enough for a drug to come through that we know really will help. That's kind of the main thing I would tell people, is that it could buy you time. It could improve you or improve you for a little while, and at first, we've had this talk about whether it can improve brain function, and the thing is actually it does improve.
It can.
Yeah, it can, and it did. And, I didn't know what planet I was on half the time a year ago. And now I'm, memorizing things and, getting back to doing actual work. And
I saw progress.
And as far as walking, not being in a wheelchair even part of the time, Daisy. So, but we'll talk more. I have some other thoughts for you, and I'm going to talk to you probably about that because I have some other suggestions too.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Well, no. I just the thing with the HBOT and the red light therapy. Is it okay if I move into that because this also applies to Daisy too?
Yep, absolutely.
In terms of more affordable options for something that could make a huge big impact right away. All of these things, we're not doctors, we're not scientists. We don't need to get into what exactly these autoimmune diseases are. They don't even know their idea of, neurodegenerative. I just want to go back to what I was saying earlier. One of the risk factors I had for getting neurodegenerative disease is that when you have pre-existing autoimmune disease, it's one of the risk factors. Neurotoxins, environmental toxins, autoimmune disease, trauma, even psychiatric trauma like PTSD can put you more at risk of having a neurodegenerative disease. It's so complicated. It's not just a bunch of blobs of protein in your brain that just got there. It's a really complex thing.
Yeah. I have bipolarism, and bipolarism is a reduction of dopamine in the brain. So, it's
there's a Venn diagram there. You see.
Yes. Yep.
And so when you look at that, you think that, so we need a multi-pronged approach to getting better. All of these things, whether they be stem cells, hyperbaric oxygen, or what I'm going to call is pulsed medical light therapy, is that they do a few things. They nourish the mitochondria. Mitochondrial health is critical in neurodegenerative disease. Our mitochondria are basically just dying. They're falling apart. They don't work right anymore.
Right.
I take supplements and do other nutritional things to nourish my mitochondria aside from all of this. So we want to have what's called mitophagy, and we want to encourage new mitochondria to flourish, and that's going to help build new neurons in our brain. So we also want to encourage ATP production, right? ATP is the energy storehouse of the cell. So, of course, we want to encourage that because that will further help our brain. We want to reduce inflammation, right?
Yes.
So these and we want to reduce oxidation. This is very oxidative. That's why antioxidant supplements are such a big business. We live in a very oxidating society. There's a lot of problems with this. So these are some of the things that we want to target. All of these therapies cover that spectrum. So
Yeah,
Have y'all been checked for B12?
yeah, it's normal. B12. Well, I got one that's of the four irons. I got one that's a little high, one that's a little low, but nothing out of the ordinary. But what Kerry says, what I said on the my last YouTube video, I didn't realize that the red bottle, the red vial they gave us, Kerry, was I'll have to look at the name again, but it's like protein from a pig's brain, and it's made to help reduce the inflammation of the cells that produces the dopamine.
yeah,
And
This is a witch doctor.
yeah. Well, I mean, plus a lot of
the cerebralizin.
cerebralizin is
Right.
it? Yes, yeah. So I mean, not only do we just get stem cells, like you can go to the Mayo Clinic, Cleveland Clinic, University of Florida, Nashville, whatever you want to, and get stem cells. But how the difference between the Mexico doctors that we saw was they were helping provide a direct pathway and also assisting the stem cells on the way to the brain. So it was a multi-factor approach to it instead of just injecting you saying, I hope the stem cells do well.
Well, I think the cerebralizin, I believe, also is definitely not a placebo because again, I saw so much cognitive improvement with my mother, who has who's got some vascular issues in her brain, and that she became so much sharper and more cogent that everybody noticed different. And she's not making. She's 84 years old. She's not going to be making stuff up. What's that, Daisy?
Right.
You're back to acting, right?
Yeah, and we just had another show. We had one in August. I think that was after I saw you guys, and then we just had another one in December.
Yeah, because last year Carrie was a ghost. She was she. I say it in many podcasts and YouTube channels, like you're pregnant. And I mean, no disrespect. I said, but her face is glowing. Her skin is like you can see it. How good her skin looks. Her hair. I mean, the way she talks. I mean, just completely night and day over 6 months out of the year.
And check out our thumbnail and our flyers to see the difference. She's gonna be some before pictures.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna get you some before pictures. I took them because I like knowing that I wanted to be able to show somebody when I'm better. I'm gonna show somebody the difference. Like I knew that I'd have the opportunity to do that. I look really sick now, and I'm going to get better. So, yeah, and I do hope we can find a little clip of my voice giving out. So, but let me just let me finish telling Daisy real quick, and we can talk more about it. But what the options are for like ongoing ways to stimulate stem cells, mitophagy, create reduce inflammation. Oh, and also get blood flowing to the brain, which is also critically important. Anything that's going to heal, you need to get blood flowing to it. So there's this pulsed medical light therapy, which is much more than red light therapy. Some people have a red light therapy cap that they try to use. I am speaking a little fast here because I'm trying to cram a lot of information into a fairly short or structured podcast that we have here, but it's important information. So
it is.
A lot of people are trying to get red light caps, and they say this thing doesn't do anything. Well, one problem is that it's only one spectrum.
Yes.
It's not pulsed. It's only one spectrum of light. It's not polychromatic, and those only reach 2 inches into the skin.
But I think that's podcast. Like it only goes a couple centimeters into the body. Red light.
Right.
And that's it.
Right. 2 centimeters. Something's wrong. But this other company that I have this product from now called NeuroCare, and I'm going to give David all the information that the director, the phone number for the director of the company, and anybody who wants any information just could call just the top brass, because that's the best way to do it. It goes 12 inches. So unless we have a head that this this big. 12 inches is going to go pretty large.
Don't talk about Daisy like that. Oh my goodness. Oh, here we go. Sorry, Daisy.
I get picked on all the time.
me too. I got pretty good.
I'm not taking it out of me now. I can't help it. I already have stem cells.
It's not my fault.
So this really works because it's automatic. It's pulsed. And pulsing is another thing. Even hyperbaric oxygen is a pulse therapy because, like our circadian rhythms, like our hormonal waves, pulsing is a part of life, and we want therapies that pulse and move energy. So you can get one of these for like just the cap alone. I think it's like $1,500, and most people can pull this together. The better thing to do is to get a gut mat for the gut-brain axis, which is really key, and that's a whole other podcast to talk about. And that's
so like $1,000. Stem cell.
What's that?
I should go that route. You think?
That's what I'm saying. It's more affordable, and it will make a huge difference in your life. So, getting down to Mexico is expensive and especially if you're in a wheelchair, it's hard.
Yeah, so, impossible.
I would recommend to anybody out there, to you, Daisy, and anybody else out there listening, that the first thing to do is to call NeuroCare and look into getting best bet. They also have a full body mat, but that's a lot more. And, being that many of us are disabled and really have no resources at all, the best thing to start with is a cap and a gut pad.
Would you be able to get Charlotte on here?
What's that?
Would you be able to get Charlotte on here?
Charlotte's going to come on with David, the boss, in a couple of weeks. They're tweaking a few things, so we could do a whole other episode on that, and I'd really like to do that. So I won't even say anything about it now because they're the ones to really talk about it. That's just a little taste. But Charlotte has she wrote a paper about how this light therapy can benefit MSA specifically. She wrote.
Yeah, because
she wrote it for us.
Red light therapy has always been for when it began was for like weight loss. Just getting underneath the skin to break up fat cells and yada yada yada. But if you can get it deeper, farther, faster, kind of like DBS, deep brain stimulation, does for people with essential tremor, then you have a lot more effects of it. So I completely understand that.
Yeah. So I think Daisy, that's probably the way to go for you. And we can talk more about that. And I'll give you David's phone number. And I wouldn't even wait for him to come on the show. I would.
Oh, you have David's phone number.
No, not this David. David from NeuroCare. David.
I'm a boss, but not that boss.
Not that boss. The NeuroCare boss. And then for those who want to get something a step up from that, that's also a really powerful ongoing. Again, the best thing to do is call the boss. And I'm going to just give you his name right now because I'm going to put together like a sheet with all the information. But for people who are listening and they have a notepad and they're just like, okay, well, what can I do now? What can I do today, tomorrow? Logan Pudell at Oxy Health Hyperbaric Chambers. I have what's called a Solace. It's the smallest one. It looks like a space pod. Looks like a cross between a sleeping bag and a space pod. It's a soft home chamber. And I go on that thing twice a day for 90 minutes. And it works together with stem cells. Any stem cell establishment of reputable stem cell place will say that it enhances the stem cells if you go in a hyperbaric chamber, right? And they also enhance their own stem cells. What they do is they draw the stem cells out of your bone marrow and deposit them where they redistribute them where they need to. They do so many things. I can't even. I'd love to get them on the thing too. But in the meantime, so that's Logan Pudell at Oxy Health, and that is they have a rent to buy program and they have financing. So again, not a huge outlay.
Send that link today so you can put it in the description.
You can send me the link and I'll put it in the description of the podcast. If you want to send me the link to I'll put it in the description for the podcast.
Yeah. Oh, you mean
okay.
Yeah, of course. I'll send you all the information. So those are things. So that's like, baseline. I mean, well, baseline is good nutrition.
Yeah.
It's just good food, eating well, and
I don't eat my fruits and veggies. Let me tell you, I do not. I eat my Apple Jacks, and that's about it. So,
oh, okay. All right, well, I'm going to a little scold coming here, okay? Because that's baseline. Is really good
yeah,
nutrition. Fresh
yeah.
air. If you can't exercise, I've been looking at mudras, which are like hand exercises that people who are wheelchair bound can do. These mudras, which are like Indian. They're kind of a yoga thing that
Hmm.
stimulate parts of your body and parts of your organs. There's even parts of your ears you can touch to help stimulate your organs. So there's ways of nourishing your body that don't mean going out and running a marathon. Because let's face it, that's not on.
Yeah, that's true. Because every stem cell place I've seen and talked to or been to, they said that having the proper diet is key to enhancing the stem cells.
Right. And
Yeah.
as I told you, I think first time around, but I started after December this thing called medical medium juicing and smoothie protocol, and I'm not the only person who's on it. Um, and we feel that it makes it different for us. If we stray, we notice that we don't feel as well.
Good.
So that's another thing. But so there are options. There's a lot of options. I'm doing basically almost all of them. There are still things I haven't tried. There's something called HVAC, but that's not available in my area.
Mhm.
I know
Well,
there
that's
are.
good and it's not good because it's good because it's helping you, but it's bad because you don't know which one it is that's helping.
Well, in a way,
Most.
it doesn't matter. It's like just bring it on, bring it, just
Yeah.
bring on all the good stuff. And I know I've
Yeah.
started them all at different times, and I could see for sure that each one individually worked on its own to make me feel better and to help my symptoms, not just to make me feel better. Do you know what I mean? My
Yeah.
symptoms, my labs, my actual tests, the number of medication. David, I've seen I got you way beat on the medication.
Well,
Um,
I've doubled them since then. So,
I have like 40. No, I have way
yeah,
more than you. I have so many, and I'm not taking them all anymore.
yeah.
I don't have.
Yes, yes, seriously. I mean, that's what the doctor did in Mexico, in Guadalajara. Like, he not only doses stem cells and the what are the glycine, the peptides for the pig brain, but he
Mhm.
also gave me 4 sets of vitamins to take home too. And I really think that those vitamins helped me completely
Absolutely.
get rid of my dizziness and the spinning and passing out and stuff.
Yeah.
I really think that is what did that and the stem cells helped with all my movement issues I had.
Right. And it also shows how much he cares about our continued wellness, not just
Yes.
treatment and, take the money and run.
He gave me 6 months and he says, call me back if you need more. I'll send them to you for free. I'm like, for free? I'm like, okay, thank you.
That's awesome.
Well, anybody who can manage the travel, I bought what's called the Belarus annual pass. So
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, I've seen that.
you can,
Frontier has one like that too.
yeah, and I'm hoping to go to Mexico City too, but that would just be for fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, so there are lots of things that we can do, and I'm determined to get information out there. Knowing that not everybody has money to buy any of this stuff. That's why I'm saying like just some basic nutritional tweaks, some basic acupressure things that we can do to nourish our organs. I'm gonna put everything rather than messaging people individually. When people contacted, have gotten in touch with me after these podcasts, and I'm going to put everything in a more organized fashion and pass it on to you guys and put it where people can access it, because I really want people to get better, including you
Well, said
guys,
it
of course, and
before.
everybody else.
You said it
Absolutely.
before many times. You are your best advocate. So anyone's going to help you get better, it's going to be yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
you know,
Yeah, just put it in a like a Google Drive sheet, and that's more.
that's a good idea.
I mean, most people have a Google account, so
Okay. Yeah,
Your health
Yeah,
is in your hands.
yeah. What's that?
Your health is in your hands.
Your health is totally in your hands. And I, like I said, I'm not going to say anything about curing anything. I don't know. I'm not God. I'm not a doctor. I'm just a person. But I know that things can get better. And unless somebody just really doesn't want to get better, then
No, David, that's not me.
then
I would never say that. but Kerry, would you agree with me? Like after the stem cells, I started seeing the first effects probably within 2 weeks, a week and a half, 2 weeks.
That's exactly.
I feel overall that not my voice, right, not my double vision, but besides that, my other symptoms have improved dramatically and have plateaued to where they're not getting worse, but but they're at a comfortable level where I have no walking devices, nothing. So I mean, like I felt that that stem cell therapy that I got with the doctor in Mexico, at least plateau, because you talked about at least lasting for a little while longer. I wholeheartedly believe that medical treatment plateaued me because my bladder, my GI, I mean my heart rate, my POTS and all these other things I have issues with MSA is not getting worse.
Yeah.
I mean, I still have issues with my voice, but my voice has not gotten any worse since my treatment. It's just stayed the same. So, if nothing else, the treatment is getting certain things better and everything else is leveling off. And the question is for how long, that's really the question.
I agree with you. And my experience is exactly the same. And I'll give you a for instance. As I said, the night before I left, this is not a common symptom with MSA, and some doctors might even say, "Oh, that's not an MSA thing." But people with MSA would say, "Yeah, you can get abdominal pain."
Yeah, I complain about my kidneys or something hurting almost every other day.
Like horrible, wrenching stomach pain. So that's why I was curled up in a ball. I was in pain. I was in agony. I was taking I tried two different things. I was taking something called Bentyl, which is dicyclomine, and then I tried another one called hyoscyamine. They're just two basically in the same family to help with the stomach pain.
Yeah.
I never had to go back on those. I only have them for really extreme situations now when I need them.
I told Daisy while our podcast first started, they thought I had some type of kidney infection. They were never able to figure out what it was. It had me in the fetal position, my hands and knees. I couldn't move. They had no idea what it was. So when you talk about abdominal pain with MSA, absolutely. It happened one time, and it hasn't happened since. But yeah, that was very scary.
A lot. I had been hospitalized, and I was. I had been hospitalized a couple months before that. I was prescribed it then. I'd been taking it. It was getting worse, and I was just saying, I can't live like this. But what am I?
Did you have bladder issues before?
Oh yeah, and that's also much, much, much better. And as you know, that can make it hard to go out and have a life and be out of the house for long periods of time and do the things you want to do. And obviously, if I'm acting in plays,
yeah, seriously, yeah. Hey, before stem cells, me taking 3 hour drive to Indianapolis for treatment, I'd have to stop to go to the bathroom 6 times.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And now it's only once.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's once without peeing myself. It's great to be able to go 3 hours without having to bring a change of pants.
Yeah, exactly. And you need to. you still need to be smart about it, right? You can't be it's never good to think, timing. I'm completely cured. I don't want to think about that anymore. Okay, no, you still have to be
proactive,
prudent, proactive, right?
Yeah.
I mean, bowel issues. Do you have bowel issues?
You asking him or me?
You.
Me? Oh.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was in the hospital.
Yeah.
No one should have to go through that.
Yeah, I say I thank God, but I thank Kerry from Mexico themselves. I have normal bowel movements now. They are daily instead of every 4 or 5 days. I told them before I would feel my stomach filling up to the top and the pain of trying to push up through the top of the stomach. That's how I knew I had to go to the bathroom. And even getting it out at that point was crap shooting. Like no pun intended.
No pun intended.
It's a crap shoot. But yeah, now stem cells. Like every day, I go at least once or twice, and it's like hallelujah.
I can tell you the last time I had a normal boob.
Really?
Really. I mean, we're talking.
I think stem cells for you, Daisy. You would have nothing to lose and only many things to gain, possibly. You know.
I think it would help you, Daisy. But like I said, if you want to, again, it's a lot. It's a lot to get down there. The ticket is not that expensive. The accommodations. It's not that the trip is that expensive.
No.
I mean, but yeah, they have cobblestone streets, so getting around in a wheelchair is hard. It's a lot to think about logistically. But I know it would help you.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love for you to do stem cells. What's that?
It'd be hard to get around in the wheelchair.
It would be practically impossible for you to get around. Unless you're down in the financial district, you're not getting a wheelchair and you're not going anywhere.
Well, we had to hire people to lift my mother, like
Yeah.
the Queen of Sheba, which she loved.
So the doctor's office can arrange transportation back and forth or whatever. I mean, the scarcity of ADA Ubers and taxis is very scarce compared to the U.S. So you may have quite a bit of a waiting time, but they still have them.
Yeah, that's true. Because once you get in the office, obviously it's not. The entrance to the office way is smooth tile. So
steps.
Well, there's just a couple of little ones, but then you can just. But as far as in town, there's a lot of cobblestone and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'd love to see you get a light helmet and get stem cells too, and maybe like get the helmet first and then start to feel better, so you could start feeling better about making the plans.
I'm not sure they have a helmet that big enough for Daisy.
You're gonna get.
You're so mean. You're mean to her.
Somebody has to.
He's my little brother, though.
Like you've been doing this too long.
Somebody has to speak up.
But I remember, I was like, "Oh, can't you tell I've gotten worse since you've been on?"
Can you tell she's gotten worse since you last been on?
Can I tell you? You're for some reason your volume is very low, so I can tell that your movement looks a little labored, and your voice. Last I spoke to you a few weeks ago, and your voice sounded really strong. So, but today you seem like you're not doing well, and I'm sorry you're not feeling well.
Yeah, she also leans back like Fat Joe, but that's a rap song, and if you didn't get that, then just keep on going.
Yeah,
so.
And today is a bad voice day.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have your good voice days and your bad voice days.
It is like I went outside today in the cold, like is it like -4 yesterday, but today I went out shopping, got me a couple of shirts, and just the cold air, like taxes your body to where you're done,
Kerry, you're like Sarah, you're full of knowledge, and I would love to have you back in a few weeks with the doctor. You can learn more about red light therapy.
Yeah, and they're going to do it. They're doing some tweaks, and they're writing some more papers. And I'd say in about 2 weeks they're going to be ready to do that.
You come back on here with you.
And Charlotte's amazing. I don't know David personally yet, but I know Charlotte real well, and she's beautiful, and she's charming, and she's a sweetheart.
David and I finally got to meet.
David and I what?
Finally got to meet.
Will we get to meet?
David and I finally got to meet.
I know.
Oh, I got to meet. Oh,
I know. And I saw the pictures.
Yeah, she's trying to punch me when I showed up. I was like, really? What would I do?
Oh my God! Oh, that reminds me. Wait! I just got to tell. Did I tell my REM disorder story before?
Not all of it.
Oh no! Just quickly, just because it just happened 2 weeks ago. Like I said, I'm not like all the way better. I dreamt that there was these, spider, snaky things that were trying to get under our skin and kill us, and I was trying to wave them away. It's always about punching somebody or waving something away. So I was thrashing around and screaming, and I fell out of bed, and the bedside lamp fell on my head. and I got a concussion, and it was
Oh no,
heavy,
yeah,
and it was bad. And
it
thank
was a horrible one.
I didn't break anything. I didn't get a bleed. I did go to the hospital. I was definitely concussed for a couple of weeks and not.
Now, the last time I had spiders on me was after taking some shrooms. Are you sure, Kerry?
Let's not go down that road.
I had a friend that said, "Well, if edibles won't help you, let's try shrooms." I'm like, "Shrooms? What's a shroom?" Well, I found out very quickly because
spiders on me. That's another thing.
yeah,
It hasn't
yeah.
happened in a while. I was having like hallucinations about having spiders on myself because, like,
Well,
I think I might
in your
have
sleep or
no, awake because I think I might have
wow,
a body crossover, and I was like,
yeah,
like that. And that hasn't happened in a while either. So like, a lot of stuff is getting better, and I don't know if it's the right combination of medicines or if it's all the everything that I'm doing.
yeah.
How if I'm doing all these things, how could it not be helping? Like,
Be sure to
I
send
agree.
over those links so you can put them in the description. Be sure to send over those links so you can put them in the description.
Yeah, after she puts it together or the link to
put everything so that everybody can have all the information.
We'll just give out Kerry's number on should be called by everybody. But Kerry, I'm gonna tell you this is these are things you don't know, right? I mean, of all the people that follow me on YouTube and Reddit, I have at least 24 I'm talking to right now, giving the information and still speaking about they're actually on their way down within the next couple of weeks because of you. Because I had an idea, I told the doctors in Mexico, I said, do we get like a volume discount if we recommend so many people? Because at the time, before I even went down there, people had listened to your before and after and had seen the difference and had made up their minds to go. It was just getting the dates and the accommodations and things like that. So you have done a wonderful thing, and I can't tell you how positive it has been, not only to myself but to my family and those that know me. Even being able to talk more with Daisy, which I don't like talking to Daisy, but
answer my calls or text. He won't reply.
I'm a very antisocial person, but the stem cells, Kerry, I've thought about trying to go back to work again. I've got up on the dance floor and tried to dance again. Now my feet did not move, but the fact that I tried to do that speaks wonders as to how great it's actually working. Yeah. So I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart.
You're so welcome, and I'm so glad to hear that you're talking. Keep it up. Keep up the good work. Let's just keep cutting them down.
I'm gonna give you a phone number, and you can call me and tell me more about that.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
About the shrooms.
Yeah, no, Daisy. I'm
telling you, when you have a terminal disease, everybody's like, try everything, like everything from shrooms to cocaine to weed to caffeine to Starbucks. Like everybody's like, try everything. There has to be a solution.
It's funny.
It is. It's hysterical.
That's what I was gonna say.
Anything else you wanted to add?
When you talk about to see how Lynn's doing.
How Lynn is doing.
Alan and her name's Lynn.
Alan?
Al.
Oh, Al and Lynn. Oh.
You need to see how Lynn's doing.
Alan.
And that way we can compare this stuff. Get everything out there for everybody.
Alan and Lynn were the ones that went to where?
I went somewhere for 3 months. Where was it?
Chile or Argentina?
Where? Do you remember where those people went?
They went to South America but it wasn't for stem cells. I don't think it was for physical therapy. It might have been for stem cells. Buenos Aires, yeah. Argentina.
It's great, but you can do more physical therapy after you get stem cells because then you feel better. And that's another thing, the positive. Like I've been able to actually start working out more. I mean, really
Yeah,
doing more stuff that I couldn't do a year ago. And then,
I'm about to go back and get my gym membership back. Like that's crazy to think about that.
yeah, I did. I started going
I
to the
want to
gym
do
again.
something like this. I want to want back, the motivation back.
Well, motivation starts within yourself, in your own heart, in your own brain.
Yeah.
So it can't start from me. It can't start from Kerry. It's got to start from you.
One of the symptoms of it is lack of motivation.
Sure. That's also ADHD as well.
Oh, I have aged ADHD too.
I didn't, about my motivation. My motivation's gonna be here in March, and her name's gonna be Raylan, my granddaughter.
Granddaughter, yeah, she's gonna be
And
born, right?
yeah, 1st of March, and I say she's gonna be my little ray of sunshine.
Well, my motivation was Kerry Walsh. Well, I mean, okay, Kerry, I was motivated anyway, but seeing you
Yeah, yeah, I
made me
like it.
take my ass down. I've been to Mexico 1,000 times, but maybe actually go and take the treatment that actually nicked a part of my spine, but it got the pain. But um, yeah, the rest of my motivation was Kerry Walsh.
Yeah, and mine was my friend Veronica, and so anybody, and so you can tell people also. There's a woman in Mexico named Veronica, and she's the one that put me in touch with the doctor that connected me. So even before me, there was a whole chain of people and effort and thought, and that went on for literally 3 or 4 months before that trip.
Did you ever hear that he was all over the Mexican news, the doctor, and he down there he's known as the father of the stem cell from Mexico?
Who, Miramontes?
Yeah, he's all over Noticias, Univision, and things like that. I did not know him until I accidentally. Of course, Facebook's always listening to what you're saying, right? So when he said stem cells in Guadalajara, here showed up all his videos on Noticias and Univision, the news shows. And
Maybe he's very well known because of all this.
yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like you just don't put anybody on the news. Not like America. Mexico's different, But yeah, he's known as to Mexicans, not to the world, but Mexico is the father of the stem cell because the way he's able to slice and dice it.
There are people. I've been sending people because I also have all this autoimmune history. I've been sending people with autoimmune disease and lung disease and other diseases. And people can even go just if they want their joints injected too, and that's very, very inexpensive.
You give everybody hope. You give everybody hope, Kerry.
She does.
And you're amazing. And I can't wait to take you back with the doctors.
She called you a raisin, but you're amazing to me.
Amazing.
A raisin?
You're amazing. You're amazing. And you know what? You reminded everybody that we're all MSA Crusaders.
Yes, we are. Anything else you wanted to add, Kerry, before we go?
No, just I'll be back. I'll be back hopefully with Charla and David from NeuroCare, and I'll put all the information in Google Docs, and anybody can contact you. So anybody who missed anything, fret not. Upon hearing this, you will have access to all the information, all the beats.
She'll be back in more ways than one.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, it's been a pleasure, Kerry. Thank you for coming on the show.
Much.
We'll see you soon.
Daisy, and I'll talk to you soon. Okay. All right. Take care, you guys. Bye. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.